Welcome back, everyone. I'm Kim,
And I'm Kel.
and we are the Manga Mommies, a podcast about everything to do with manga and sometimes our lives, sprinkled a little bit in between. So, as always, would you kindly get a drink, take a seat, and let's chat?
Woo!
Woo! So, a little heads up. Our next episode, or maybe our two episodes after that, possibly is going to be audio only. Um, Kels, you want to explain yourself a little bit?
So
Do that you can.
I'm sure that things have, been noticed that even though the background is fairly dark, things are disappearing from it. Um, I am in the process of moving. We are transitioning, moving everything over there, and I can't promise that I can get some sort of a studio setup done at the new house in the next couple of weeks. So, because we're amalgamating everything. So audio only is more than likely so that the absolute chaotic junk of unpacking two households into one with personal effects everywhere is not on full display. Yes.
Yeah. I it's somewhat of a warning to me too. So, woo! It's gonna look good. It'll be all right.
Mhm.
We'll get through this together. I promise.
I promise to share like setting up the manga corner and everything else. Like I will share all of that. I will make sure that it's documented. I just, you know, nobody wants to watch me unpack my underwear. So everybody gets no, no, no. I don't need those kind of views.
Uh, but today's episode we are analyzing deep themes explored in manga, such as friendship, mental health, morality, sacrifice, and power dynamic. Also, how manga tackles points of views of social issues like war and discrimination. Also power, but we kind of scooped that back up to sacrifice. I ain't worried.
Validation.
So I consolidated it down to just cutting all this out. But
Consolidately dated.
there you go. How about you, Tails? Take it away. Take it away with our first point. Maybe
All right.
some talking about it, leading up to it, or whatever you need to do, because my brain is not wanting to work. I have
It's
had
all good.
insomnia. I've had insomnia for like 3 days. I have no memory of anything right now. So good luck
That's fine.
to you.
So the first point I think we should talk about is friendship. This one is probably the easiest to discuss out of all of them. So friendship is prevalent and significant theme in most manga. It's often depicted as a powerful force that drives characters, motivates them, and even grants them strength. It can manifest in various forms, including bromances, childhood friendships that evolve, even rivalries that blossom into camaraderie. You see this in like the power of friendship tropes that a lot of characters can hit new physical or mental heights. They can overcome intense battles or emotional moments with the power of friendship. So some examples that I have for this are Skip and Loafer. So this is a manga that follows a country girl as she transitions to school in Tokyo City. Some of her goals include becoming a prime minister, so very lofty. She's convinced high school will be a perfect experience. This series does a great job also in its depiction of the LGBTQ community, with themes of some minor trans representation. And it's a very sort of fish out of water story where she meets this friend of hers, like makes friends and kind of like survives what is this absolutely insane, chaotic adventure with the power of friendship. Um, Then you have Wotakoi, Love is Hard for an Otaku. So the main character in this one is ostracized by her ex for having otaku interests, and she resolves to hide this part of herself. At her new job, she runs into a childhood friend and finds common ground with fellow weebs superiors. This is a rom-com that celebrates not only having a partner, but friends who are also supportive of your needs and your interests. And then my personal sort of fun throw in for this one was Assassination Classroom. So everybody in Class E, they're just classmates. Or are they? So you have the power of friendship when you work together and bond over trials and tribulations to complete a relatively specific assigned task. So, a couple different examples there. You got any for
No,
this
those are
one,
still good
Keo?
ones. Oh, do I? Do I? Do I? Yes, I do. I could go on all day because again, the power of friendship. It's almost in every manga. There's at least a friendship part in it, even if it's like losing touch with them or whatever. Uh so I have a few examples. Some examples I have physical copies and some examples I don't. So first one is Silver Spoon. It's based on agricultural school of farming, pretty much. Go to school there to learn about farming and nature and all that love stuff. To own a farm and agriculture and all that stuff. So pretty much he goes in there and he pretty much bands with his friends, bands with some new friends, and they all eat great looking food that kills me every time I watch it because it looks amazing. And then you go to make it, it doesn't look like it's shiny. It happens with a lot of food animes, by the way, and manga as well. It looks really good. The next, the next one I have is Gals. The power of friendship in threes, and that's pretty much. It's about an all-girls group, three girls who came from notorious backgrounds, and she's the leader. She's a little headstrong and a little crazy as well, and just the power of friendship and overcoming things and that kind of thing. Ooh. I like Gals. Uh, the next one I have is Sailor Moon. Uh,
Ah.
so yeah, so Sailor Moon is about Serena, or she's also in Japanese. She's also known as Bunny. Um, who is cute. uh, so Sailor Moon is pretty much the trope of Sailor Scouts, almost like a Power Rangers, but all girls, and they control the power of friendship to fight evil to the moon. It's your it's, it's hard for me to describe it because it's so common and so sad. But yeah, I have this. I like
Stronger together, power of friendship. We can
power
conquer
of
anything.
yeah. She's extremely friendly, and they portray her a lot as like a ditz, but she's pretty smart. They just don't. They don't cover that. My next one is Cardcaptor Sakura. Again, mostly about friendship and another magical girl one. Collecting cards and creatures, and she has like a hot brother, very hot brother. Got like a crush on like an older man, but I think the older man's like gay. It's like a whole thing. So like, it's the whole thing, and she's like elementary school, so she's like in elementary school in love with a high schooler. Nothing happens because it's like a pretty clear boundary on it, but you can tell that she's got to think anyway, and like he could see the dead or something like that. So her brother can. It's like a whole thing. Um, the next one I have that explains um friendship is chocolate. This one is a manga or manhwa. So um yeah, she is her aunt is the manager of a K-pop group, which is what these guys are in. And so and she was actually I think with the enemy group she actually liked a lot. So like it became kind of like friendship and love battle of interest and stuff. It's really good if you can find it. It's really good. Um but it's mostly around K-pop groups and fandoms and secrets and all that fun stuff. I'm fighting my stuff here. All right, next one is what, Kels? Because that's what I got. Like I
Okay.
said, I can continue on forever, but I'm not. So, and a lot of these do circle within each other.
Yes.
So our examples don't just cling on to the one trope, or not really one trope, but one theme. It kind of blends into everything, but this is what sticks out to us the most in the
Yeah.
themes.
The strongest
Should've
example of what
I
we
should have
have.
exampled that before, but I am
That's
I
okay.
am there, I promise you.
I'm here in body, not in spirit. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So the next thing we got rocking is some mental health. So using visual storytelling to depict characters' internal struggles and promote the understanding and normalization of mental health issues. So many manga series feature characters grappling with depression, anxiety, trauma, or other mental health conditions, allowing the reader to connect with those experiences on a personal level. This can foster empathy, reduce feelings of isolation, and even encourage readers to seek help with their own challenges. I have a couple of examples for this one. One of them, Kyo is still mad at me for. It was a manga of the month, and it is Your Lie in April. So, this
Really.
reflects on how mental health affects all ages and can impact life. It also draws attention to how friends and confidants can help. It reflects a balance between how grief comes in waves and how things move on, even when you are struggling, and it's okay to acknowledge that. The other one that I have, because apparently I just really like month themes, is March Comes in Like a Lion. So the main characters here, his parents and younger sister die in a car accident, and he lives alone with his foster family. And then they pretty much isolate him away, and he grows up and kind of ends up sort of isolating himself and deals with depression and anxiety and everything else that kind of revolves in that. And there's a lot of different aspects of that character that reflect everything that everybody at some point in their life has felt at least once. Those are the two I have. What you got, Keo?
Who?
I
So
only
you're
got
just gonna
two.
point out the worst experience of my life that I had to get on here a few episodes ago and just cry my eyes out. They had to see my vulnerability. And then now you're telling me there's another one that's based on March that you could have also tortured me with?
Yeah, and I didn't. So aren't you happy?
No, because I'd slap that down the moment you would have sent it to me. There's a lot that I slap down from this woman for each
Yeah.
month because
Yep.
I'm like, no.
Yep. It's how about this traumatic experience? What about this one? This seems fun. How about this one? And she's like, get them away from me. I told her at one point we should just have like put our suggestions in a hat and pull from it. That got vetoed down real fast.
It did get me down real fast because I'm gonna pull out every single one of yours. It's bad enough. It's bad enough that you insist on me remembering these things. Having the flashbacks that I don't need. Hmm?
It's
She
okay to
likes to she likes
process
to
your
read
emotions.
she likes to read about trauma that I've experienced.
Mine too. You can give me sassy Southern all day long. I will give you stubborn Canadian in response.
Okay. Hmm. I broke my
And
neck.
she's dead.
Yeah, I'm dead. I'm dead.
Made her
Rest
talk
in
about
peace.
mental health and she just like she just offed herself the fast way.
Sometimes I feel like something's gonna happen, especially when I wake it up and your neck hurts and you go and it cracks all and it feels good, but you're like, I think I died.
I
Is this
don't
death,
know if
Papa?
I'm supposed to pop this way.
Is this death, Papa?
I still get upset that my body has the audacity to crack like a glow stick but not glow like one. It is frustrating.
No, no, yeah, it's very funny. There. But yeah, mental health, right? So my examples, some of them I'm not going to go into too much of a detail with because it involves heavily along certain things that would get us flagged left and right, center square. But I will point out that one example, I don't have it because I don't own it because I refuse to own it. I may own it in the future if I actually convince myself to, but I can't stomach it. Um, but it is a very good manga if you want to see the side of it that is based on your mental psyche and people who I'm just gonna say it, cut themselves or hurt themselves. Um, so it's the manga called Life. And when I say it is pretty graphic, it is. It shows the act happening. It shows everything. If you cannot, if it's a trigger, a big trigger warning. If it's a big trigger for you, don't step there. Don't go there. Again, it is good if you don't quite understand that side of mental health. It gives you a good opening door as to why she does it, how she feels when she does it. Um, and I've never finished it, so I don't know if she moves on from it. So let me know in the comments below if you know the answer to that question because I'm too lazy to look it up. Um, the next one I have that's on the I'm not sure if everybody should should read this is for mental health is both Suicide Island and Suicide Club. It is exactly what it's stating. The island is for that and the club is that. So not going any further than that. And there is a movie. It's crazy. Wild. I have seen the movie. Never I haven't read the manga, but I've seen the movie. And it's a good Halloween pick. Super spooky. You want something crazy, you want that, but don't recommend you going that far. Um, another one, Mars. Mars is really big with mental health, especially since the two main characters both have their own separate versions of mental health issues. Um, so highly recommend this one. That she's an artist and she draws really pretty things, and he is a bad boy who is a bad boy. I mean, that's he comes off as just the bad boy, and then he's somewhat like you see a softer side to him, and you find out why he is the way he is, and then you find out why she is the way she is first, and then later on you find out why he is the way he is, and it's so, but it's really
That's
good,
fair.
and they're re-releasing it, and I'm super excited because that means new fans are gonna get to read this. It's a hard find. It's out of print, so I'm excited. Um, Gravitation's one. Gravitation has a lot of mental health when it comes to relationships and fighting for those relationships and um, physical abuse, mental abuse, trying to look past it. Um, Again, really good. Then you have Ari's First Love. Um, this one's another really good one. A little bit more into the teen romance. You got to choose between your best friend and the one you love, that kind of thing. And it gets crazy. It gets what? Um, Parkano is another big one. It's another old one. This one came out and finished right as I think Twilight started coming out. So like the ending to this somewhat mimics something that the thing that happens in Twilight with the the dude liking the Donner. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. It's kind of this right here. But this depicts like a mental health of someone trying to be perfect all the time, finding out that she actually has flaws. Other people find out she has flaws. She's she's battling it out with someone else. Another guy, he's got a lot of mental issues. Um, the way it ended, I'm not quite happy about because it actually involves, him and him essaying her and then turning around and they get married and have a kid together. So like it's got a lot it's a lot deeper than you think. Again, I do recommend it. It's just have to kind of look over that because like she still loves him, so it's kind of like one of those things where it's like a line. I don't know. There's a line and it's just weird. I just, this line of like I love him and kind of allowed it. You know what I'm saying? But then it's still not right. Yeah, and it's hard for me to come up with the words for that. But yeah. Um, Another one is Good Night Pon Pon. That one's good. Um, and My Journey to Her, which is a trans manga, which is, discovery of self, I guess I should say. Discovery of self, but it is a trans manga. And it's also very good and highly recommended. My last one is Train Man, because yeah, I know, it's one of our mangas of the month. Ah, I love it. Train Man.
Sorry, I've been trying to hold that in for the last two mangas. I
You
thought I
got
had a
anything else
second.
in there?
Nope, we're
Got
good.
anything else in there?
Good.
Okay. Nerdy guy gets the girl. But he uses the help of the internet and internet friends. So you learn about friendship, but you also learn about how to overcome your shyness, nervousness, and anxiety. Highly recommend this one. It's only like 3 books, and there's actually like two different versions, multiple versions, but I know of two. I talk a lot. I'm nervous.
Well, I mean, you also have a lot more experience with a lot of these mangas than I do. So that's why I have two examples, and you're like, I have 47.
I know, and it's hard to break it down. It's hard to break it down to a lot more reasonable thing to keep it under a certain time. And it sucks. And it probably makes it look like I just repeat certain ones, but that's because I just can't put them down. So, yeah, our next one is morality, isn't it? And that would
Yep.
be on to you.
Yeah. So morality is frequently explored throughout complex narratives that challenge the readers to question whether something is right or wrong. Stories often present characters with conflicting ideals, ambiguous situations, or morally gray areas, forcing the viewers to confront difficult ethical dilemmas. By presenting morally ambiguous situations, the manga encourages the readers to think critically about the characters' actions and motivations. So I have two for this one again. So I have Made in Abyss, which presents a world with dangerous and morally ambiguous creatures, forcing characters to make difficult choices about survival and what they're willing to sacrifice to stay alive. Um, I also have on the more popular end of it as well, Black Butler. So this delves into Victorian morality and the occult, exploring themes of revenge, power, and the consequences of one's actions. I getting through the big words tonight without stumbling over my own tongue like it's a foreign body. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, feels good when you can do it again.
I can do it.
Yeah, if anyone don't know out there, this is our second time recording it because the first time, again, she's packing. So a lot of her equipment is like intact. So a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
So she sounded like a robot under oil in a cave and somewhat mimicking like the further we went into it, somewhat mimicking the Charlie Brown's adults
Wah,
where
wah,
it just
wah,
went
wah.
womp womp womp. And you couldn't even I couldn't even lip read at this point to even tell you what it was. So yeah, this is technically our second go about it. So it's kind of fun.
But I mean, we missed the bangers, like when you were talking about life and the words out of your mouth were life. Not about that.
I know, that upsets me. That upsets me so bad. It was gonna be a cut, but well, I may be able to actually put that in as a because I was speaking.
Like,
But yeah,
she
no.
said it and it derailed us for probably a solid 5 or 6 minutes, and I could not stop laughing. And she's like, "What is your problem?" And I was like, "You literally just said
Well,
life.
it's
I'm not
it's
about
a
that."
title.
As we're talking about mental health, you pretty much
Right.
said to the
I know.
internet you were just gonna yeet. And I was like, "Girlfriend, I know what you mean."
For some manga, the way you have to bring it into the conversation does not end very well, and that was one of them. It was just in the middle of my notes. I was just like, the manga life instead of saying the manga life, I just put manga next one life and then my thought took over and was like, "I'm not about that." And she just stared at the camera, scared to death. Again, shit's happened in my life. Scared to death that I was just gonna end the conversation, and it's not what was
It
gonna
was
happen.
because I didn't know, like, now I know what she's got, like, I know what manga she's got on her list and stuff. Because again, second time recording it, but the first time, this woman literally deadpans at me and goes, "Well, I
I can't
don't own
imagine.
it, but, there's, this manga and it's life. I'm not about that." And just
Not about
life.
that.
I'm not about that.
It just
Completely
oh,
deadpan, completely serious, and I'm sitting here going, "I know you mean that you are not about that manga, but you literally just admitted on camera, and that's gonna get clipped somewhere at some point, because you just went, 'I'm done with this.
I might
like,
put it
I've had enough.'"
like, she doesn't so, what I may do is I may actually take it because I was in my orange sweater for that one too. So, I may actually take it as, like, a clip thing at the end. But
Oh,
I
it's so
may
funny.
because it's still yeah.
Like, I had legitimate tears. I was actually crying, I was laughing so
Actually
hard.
actually, it may I don't know if it's that one or if it's in our top 10. If it's in our top 10, that'll be funny because I can't remember.
I
But
don't know.
because we oh, yeah.
It's in there somewhere, and oh my god, it
Some
was
of
so
it's
funny. It was so
I'm just
funny.
so nonchalant about it. It's not about that.
Like,
Weird. So, for morality, I have Death Note. I mean, I think, it's a gray line whether you should or shouldn't kill somebody just for the acts that they do. And I know we all have that side of us that wants the revenge.
but he has a list.
Oh, everybody has a list. A lot of people have a Death Note, which they tried to ban. Not this, but the actual physical little Death Note thing. They tried to ban it at some point in America. I don't know if they tried to up there in Canada. And over here in America, they did. They tried to ban it, and they were like, "This is not appropriate."
No, they very
I was
rarely
like,
try to ban books.
"It's a notebook." Okay, moving on. It is just crazy. So let's see. We have Cowboy Bebop is another one that I have. I don't have the physical copy. Kind of upsetting that I don't have it. I wish I did. Um, then you have Berserk. Berserk is another one that is a lot with morality. It's also in the war aspect later that I have as well, so I'll be mentioning it again. Um, the manga Monster, the manga Code Geass, Code Geass, Geass. I can't always do that right. Code Geass, uh, Madoka Magica. Personally, I never finished that one. I know I watched some of the anime and it got rough real fast, real fast. Um, DBZ, Dragon Ball Z, which Kels has explained that she doesn't like it, and I have to hold back a lot of rage on that one. I really did. I was a big
I
fan.
liked it.
Big fan.
I liked it as a kid. I just I outgrew it.
Okay.
And that's all I said about it. And I was like, I know I'm gonna catch hate as long as I don't catch hands. But it's fine. It just I outgrew it. We've been over this. I'm not explaining myself any more than that. We're not doing it.
I'm not explaining myself, but then you explain yourself.
I said I'm not explaining myself anymore, damn it.
Fine. It's just easier cuts that way for me too. Um, what was another one? Yu Yu Hakusho. Um, Pretty much in the beginning, he regrets in a way. Like he doesn't regret it, but he also somewhat regrets in a way that he saved the boy's life and ended up killing him. There's also other aspects where people just they kind of regret certain actions that they took or whatever. Um, so That's what I got.
And I mean, that sort of transitions us into our next point, which is
Yes.
sacrifice and or power dynamics. These
Mhm.
are frequently intertwined, often serving as major plot drivers and character development catalysts. So, sacrifice, particularly heroic sacrifice, can elevate a character, demonstrate loyalty, or even alter the course of events, while power dynamics, encompassing both literal and metaphorical power, shape relationships and influence choices. Characters who make significant sacrifices, often leading to their death to protect others or to achieve a larger goal. This can be done as a powerful tool in evoking emotion and demonstrating a character's dedication. We all have that one character that we're like, oh my God, they die for us, and we love that so much. Um, so again, only a
Mhm.
couple examples for me on this one. I do have one. It's one of the new mangas I just picked up, Angel Sanctuary. So the characters do make various heroic sacrifices, often leading to fulfilling this prophecy and impacting the world's fate. Which in my mind is just terrifying. Like if you're supposed to enact this prophecy and whether or not you agree with what's happening, you still have to sacrifice a part of yourself for that. And then I also have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So the characters sacrifice themselves to save others, emphasizing a lot of loyalty and courage.
Yep. So I have quite a few. This is actually one of the longer ones. I don't have it all, but I think maybe like two physical examples on me. I did have other physical examples, but I just don't have those at more time. So, uh, for it, mostly kind of just some power dynamic, but I mostly focused on the sacrifice ish when it comes to it. But I do focus back a little bit more. So one of the examples that I have is Apothecary Diary. This one isn't really about sacrifice. It's more about power dynamic. Like she flat out knows that she is lesser class. She wants to keep her head down. She doesn't want anybody to be discovered. She wants to keep working on her uh, medicines and poisons and everything else. And then you have the haha. You have the guy that notices her and pretty much goes goes after her for the event of love, even though it's not really in the beginning, whatever. And they go back and forth, and she's always like, "Well, I'm gonna try this poison," and he's just like, "No, spit it out." So it's like a whole it's a power dynamic thing when it comes to royalties and hierarchies and stuff like that. So it's really good. It's a really good one. It was also a manga of the month recently too that we had. Um, the next one is High School Host Club. That one's more of the power dynamic of rich versus poor. She had a scholarship to go to a very rich school, and she gets mistaken as it also could be mental health for identity crisis because she does get mistaken for a boy the entire time until it clicks that she's a girl, and then they try to hide that fact from everyone. Um, so yeah, that one's actually really fun. I wish I had that one physically, but I don't. And then Full Metal Alchemist, um, you have to sacrifice something to get something in return. Um, not very much of a power dynamic, but there is a little bit when it comes to the ways certain people have sacrificed stuff to get stuff. So, and there is like a chain of commands because it is like a military thing. So, it's mostly about equivalent exchange. It's kind of a rule I kind of go by. Kind of weird, but I go by it. Um,
It's Newton's hidden law of
yeah,
sacrifice.
yeah.
for,
There
e-
you go.
for, for every sacrifice, there is an equal and opposite sacrifice.
Every murder attempt, there's always me coming back going, ha!
The sad part is you're not kidding.
Pretty much. It's so sad.
That's what makes it so much worse.
I know. I know.
Everybody's like, haha, they're so funny. And it's like, haha, but it's kind
So I have here's a story for y'all. So I have this is what's gonna make you understand why she says the way she does. And I had another story we told last time. So this is So there is a mirror in my bedroom that that sometimes when people see it, they ask questions like, like, "Oh, why do you still have that mirror?" Whatever. It's got a bullet hole in it from where a few years ago my house was shot at, and I was missed by like 3 inches above my head. So, fun fact: it has
They weren't
come.
aiming at her.
They were
This
not.
was
No, they
this
were
was
not.
nothing to do with
This
her
was nothing to
at
do with
all.
me. I was the innocent bystander just working on working on an essay paper. Me explaining this to my professors was horrific the next day because I was so nonchalant about it. Like, I was still upset, but I was nonchalant about it. And they were just like, "Why are you like?" They were just like, "What do you mean? What happened?" And I'm like, "I sent them the pictures of my house because it was like 20 bullets, roughly, is what they found in the driveway, or shell casings." Um, 3 inches above my head through a window came one because my back was against the window, and then one came out from underneath the window. Um, this is not the rest of them; just the two in particular came out from underneath into the seat that I was sitting in on the couch. Like the couch was smoking. The whole thing, like they missed me completely, but it was like, and that's like the main thing I've kept is the mirror because like my husband come home and then later on he was like, I don't want to show you this and it's going to upset you, but here they even hit the mirror. What do we need to do? And I was just like, it's so beautiful. And he's just like, what? And I'm like, it's a masterpiece, just the way it looks. And I was just like, I have to keep it. And he's like, okay.
Like,
Drama.
all right, crazy lady. Guess we're keeping the mirror.
I'm actually afraid to move it. I'm afraid when it does get moved, it's gonna, because it went straight through into the closet. And like I said, it got our bed, it got the closet, it got everything. Um, you cannot find this story in the news or nothing. It was kept from the news because I lived. So
So when I bring something up or I seem a little like, disproportionately triggered by something she said, there are reasons. We have been friends
I'm very
long enough, and
nonchalant.
I
Very
know enough
nonchalant.
stories where she's just like she'll start talking about something and I'm like, "Excuse the hell out of what?" And she's like, "No, it's
I'm
totally
very
fine. It's
nonchalant.
just this thing just happened." And I'm like, "Ma'am, I have barely heard a gun fired in my presence and you were like not the original target of an attack and like I will come down there. Like
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
will come down there."
I'm very like nonchalant. Like they had to put me on. I was on anxiety medications for about maybe like 2 years. I had to stop them at some point, but like they had to bring down my anxiety because I was so chalant that it was just not. It's crazy. So yeah. Woo! The more you know. Craziness over here. I got stories to tell. How I'm dodging and weaving. That's why we make the joke all the time that me and Death just has a game of tag randomly.
If it ain't the heart, it's the exterior universe.
Right?
It's
It's something. I'll tell you what. Anyway, let's go back to sorry about that, everyone. So let's go back to our examples here. Another one I have is I hate this one. One Piece is an example I have. I do have the manga. It's currently missing at the moment because I did sit it down for something and now it's gone. So I don't know where it ran off to on me.
the
Um,
manga gnomes.
Something like that. I can tell you something happened. Probably my children that came running here and grabbed it and ran off with it, so I can go find it in their room in a little bit, maybe. I know I'm blaming them. It probably wasn't even them. Um, yeah, that one's more of like a power dynamic with trying to be the best pirate, and then you have your sacrifice of the life of being a pirate. I mean, that's pretty much it. You're choosing the life of being a pirate, and so that comes with the consequences. Um, let's see. Chainsaw Man's one that I have. Hunter x Hunter is another one that I have. Um, Another one with Power Dynamics would also be in Gravitation again as well. Um, Rurouni Kenshin is a big one about sacrifice. It's also in a way mental health as well. Um, but he pretty much has his sword made a specific way, that way he can no longer kill people because he, you know, swore off killing people. And it's really interesting concept in how he wins stuff that way, like how he wins his battles that way and stuff like that, and overcoming sacrificing, what he was before to become a better person. It's kind of like, trying to get so many good things to counteract the evil thing you did. Um Fruits Basket's another one. Uh that one's a lot about power dynamic within its own family, more like the family power dynamic. Um then you have your sacrifices of what each of the zodiac characters do sacrifice something in a way. Like a lot of it is being able to be held, being able to be touched. The character Kyo at some point has to be sacrificed as being locked away because of who he is. And, that, his a lot of the parents blame the kids of the zodiac for each thing that happens in their life, even though it had nothing to do with the children. So there's a lot of waving when it comes to it. So that one's a good one. Um the next one is Hot Gimmick. That one's that one's kind of a touch and go when it comes to what you want to read that one as, because I'm not going to go into that one. I don't own that one. I did read it. Um it's a lot to do with bullies and stuff. So, um my last two is Akira and Ghost in the Shell, which I mostly know Ghost in the Shell from the anime, because Toonami played a lot. Um, so yeah. Woo! There's my long ass list plus side story.
Tangential. And that, friends, is our life sprinkled a little bit in between.
Pretty much. I tend to ran off into some random story at some point or another. I feel bad about doing it because again, it's mostly manga. So
That's
yeah, no.
okay. I don't think it'll cause what our next topic is, which is war.
Woo! Because we're
Terrible
tackling the
segues.
points. Yeah, there you go. Tackling points, social issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
War.
war, yeah. The war is often depicted as a large scale conflict with dramatic clashes between numerous characters, aiming to create a sense of a grand scale or lasting impact while focusing on individual character development and emotional consequences. These arcs often explore themes of what we just talked about: morality, sacrifice, the impact of war on characters' motives and decisions. I do only have one example for this, but it was such an overarching example that it was the only one that I could pick. Um, and this is the saga of Tanya the Evil, so this manga is about a Japanese salaryman who's suddenly isekai'd back into a world racked with warfare and hardship by a supernatural power that he calls Being X. Um, he is reborn as a young girl who is a child soldier, and it depicts a parallel world to like our world during the world wars, with all of the history and the battles and the struggles, and it shows him sort of trying to beat everything and give into like those more sadistic tendencies that he had as a businessman that he couldn't sort of act on, while at the same time pulling from his knowledge of history to gain up in the ranks and sort of claw his way up. And it's huge battles and excessive scenes of, you know, semi gratuitous violence, but it's a good read.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have actually I've read that one. That one is a good one. Um Again. have more than her for some reason. So my examples would be Berserk is a big one with war and its depiction of it and everything else, and the battles within each other and why he thinks women shouldn't be in the war. So then you have Attack on Titan, which is a lot, again, it's not really, I wouldn't say war based, but it is a concept of battling something greater than humanly possible, I guess you could say. So it's like battling something, but it's not really war. I guess they would be going to war, but it's a whole thing. Um, 12 Kingdoms, that one's an old one, but a good one. Kingdom, that one's another good one. Full Metal Panic, uh, that one is more high school based with military. And then my physical copy, you have Black Lagoon, pretty much like pirates, but it's like a pirate and mob and everything else mixed into one. The Russian lady is my favorite. 'Cause she's just my favorite. So, well, it's a really good manga, and it's about social class and becoming a pirate, and then you got to deal with the mafia and stuff like that. So it's a big round mix of you know good, not really good versus evil, but where's your line again with the gray area of what's good considered what's evil, kind of like I'll think of it in a second. Kind of like Robin Hood. Steal from the
That's
rich,
fair.
give to the poor. Steal from the poor, give to the rich. That kind of thing. That's kind of what this is. It's kind of just, it's a lot more of the darker themed. So I do highly recommend it. And I also recommend the anime too. The anime is pretty good too. And it stays pretty faithful. But yeah, that's my short form.
So, our sort of last topic we're going to touch on today is discrimination. So, there are 7 types of discrimination: age, disability, gender, marital and civil partnership, pregnancy and maternity, race, religion, and sexual orientation are sort of your big ones. Manga touches on these in powerful ways to elicit emotions and provoke thought in their audiences, how to challenge these forms of discrimination, reflecting on the world as a whole. So I have 2 for this one. So the first one is Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. So it's another isekai, because I love me some isekais, where the main character meets up with people who are demi-human or different races, which results in them looking physically unattractive. And they're sort of looked down upon. It touches upon concepts like slavery and classism, and it's sort of an overall moral compass slash critique of what could parallel our society on what people actually look at. The second one that I have is called Girls' Places. It shows silent gender discrimination as seen by 10-year-old girls in different countries and different cultures. And while this is more of a comic than a manga, I felt it was important to add here. It is based on real stories from 5 short stories from Saudi Arabia, Morocco, India, Japan, and Afghanistan. So these are real stories told by real girls, and then they were drawn up in cartoon manga style to illustrate and distribute. Um, and I thought that that was important to include here.
Yeah,
That's all I
because
got.
I like a good Reddit book, real stories. Those are fun. Okay, so my examples um for discrimination. Number one is Sayuki. Um, there's a lot of demon versus human discrimination with stuff, even if they're non-violent. Um, it's a pretty good concept, and I like that one a lot. And the next one I have is the next one I have is Dark Heaven. That one's a good one. Um, Stars, big on discrimination when it comes, but they use the concept of animals as for that. It's much like a Zootopia kind of feel. So again, I put down Host Club because that one does do with a lot of classisms. And Starving Anonymous is a big one. That one is again also for classisms, the rich versus the poor getting sacrificed in horrendous ways to appease the overlords for the rich people to continue to be rich. It was our manga of the month for October, our darker version. It is under 18 plus, so if you want to go check that out for us, it's available on the website. It's just for 18 plus. So just make sure you click the little thing saying you're over 18 and you can listen to it because we do talk about a lot of graphic things in there. We do not hold out in that one because it is crazy. It's crazy manga. I do highly recommend it if you have a strong stomach. You can read it online because I'm not 100% sure if it was actually like released a physical copy here in America. I'm not quite 100% on that one. My next one is Hanakimi. Girl is a fangirl of him. She wants to run with him, and she has a scholarship. She joins the school, but it ends up being an all boys school, so she has to pretend to be a boy. Gender identity in a way. Um, he has to overcome, is he gay? Is he not gay? Because he actually likes her, but thinks she's a guy. In the same kind of with that. So it has a lot of identity thinkings with it. And actually I had seen the live action of that and it's hilarious. Um Wallflower about classism or about being ugly versus not ugly. Uh, her aunt that she lives with, she likes being in the dark. She likes darkness, she likes skulls and everything else. She has like two little front skulls or whatever. And a whole bunch of guys that are hot were promised to live there rent free if they can convince her to become hot and more of a modern class in society by her aunt. So a lot of classism with that and a lot of discrimination when it comes to what would you define as pretty, what do you define as ugly. Dark versus light. That's how she does all the time. She's always just like, the light is so bright, he's so shiny, he's so bright. It's so funny. So yeah, that's all I got. That's all I have there.
Yeah, we would love to hear your guys' suggestions if you have anything or you feel like a manga that you've read we didn't mention. It's one of these categories. We'd love to hear your opinions on it. Um,
And again,
but
they can all fit at some point in any of these categories. It's not limited to one category. But like she said, just tell us below. Tell us your thoughts, your feelings. What do you like? What do you dislike?
if you made it this far in the episode, we want to say thank you. We couldn't do this without your support. If you'd like to subscribe and become an official Manga Mommies member, the link will be in the show notes. For the manga of the month, the PDF, copy, or free website is located in the description below. If you feel up to it, like, subscribe, and share our podcast so we can find more people just like you. We hope to have you have a great rest of your day, whatever time that happens to be, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Stay tuned and thanks for listening. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Do it.